Sign the papers, Arturo. Honestly, you're just getting in the way of my future. And take your stuff today. Julian needs your office by Monday.
Those were the exact words from my wife of 15 years. There were no tears in her eyes. There was no hesitation. Just the coldness of a woman who thought she had won the war before I had even fired my single bullet. My name is Arturo. I'm 45 years old, and I work as a systems engineer in Austin, Texas. Or at least, that's what my wife and her new strategic partner thought I was. A simple, glorified employee in the company I built from the ground up. For 2 decades, I was the invisible man. The one staying up until 3 in the morning fixing servers while others slept. But silence isn't weakness. And patience is the most dangerous weapon of all. To understand my revenge, you first have to understand my sacrifice. I met Carla in college. She had the charisma, I had the technical brain. It was the perfect combination. When we founded Nexus Solutions 12 years ago, we had nothing. I mortgaged the house I inherited from my parents. I sold my car. We ate instant noodles for 3 years just to make payroll for our first 2 employees. I handled everything no one sees: the coding, the patents, the legal structure, the accounting. Carla handled sales. She was the pretty face, the one in the photos. And I was fine with that. I loved her. Her success was my success. Or so I thought. Everything changed when Nexus reached a $10 million valuation. Money changes people, but it transformed Carla into a stranger. She started showing up late, then not showing up at all. She stopped consulting me on decisions, and then she hired Julian. Julian was a brand consultant, a 30-year-old guy in Italian suits with a shark's smile. He knew nothing about our software, but he knew exactly how to manipulate my wife's ego. In 6 months, Julian went from consultant to chief operating officer. Carla gave him my old office. They started traveling together to conferences in Paris and Milan, charging everything to the company card. I saw it all on the bank statements. I didn't say a word. I kept working. The final straw was the October quarterly meeting. The investors, the legal team, and the executives were all there. Julian stood up and presented a plan to modernize the company. His big idea was to swap out our code base, the very heart of our product, for a cheap external system to cut costs. When I raised my hand to explain why that would destroy our client's security, Carla cut me off. In front of 30 people, she said, "Arturo, please, stop being so technical and boring. That's why the company stalled with you at the helm. Let the professionals like Julian handle the future." Everyone laughed. Julian winked at me. In that moment, I knew they didn't just want my job. They wanted to erase me. A week later, they summoned me. They offered me a divorce settlement and a buyout of my shares for a fraction of their real value. "It's either this or we sue you for administrative negligence," Julian said, sliding an envelope across the table. Carla didn't even look at me. What they didn't know is that I hadn't spent the last few nights crying. I had spent the nights reviewing the foundational structure of Nexus. You see, when we started, I was paranoid about intellectual property. 12 years ago, I created a separate entity called Arturo Holdings LLC. No one paid attention to it because it had no value back then. But that LLC is the legal owner of the Core X algorithm patent, the engine that runs everything at Nexus. The company doesn't own its product. It simply holds a usage license granted by my holding company. A license that can be revoked with 24 hours notice in the event of a hostile change in management. The day of the final signing arrived. Julian had the champagne ready. "Did you sign?" Carla asked. I pulled a document from my briefcase and slid it gently across the mahogany table. "No, I replied with a calmness that froze the room. "This is a formal notification. As of tomorrow at 8 a.m., the license to use the CoreX algorithm is revoked. You have 48 hours to wipe my code from your servers, or you will face a federal lawsuit for theft of intellectual property." Julian laughed. "You're crazy. Nexus owns everything." "Read page 4, clause B of the founding contract you signed without reading 10 years ago, Carla," I said. Carla grabbed the paper. Her hands started to shake. "Julian tried to call the lawyers, but I wasn't finished." "Also," I continued, "I sent a forensic audit to the board of directors this morning. It details the $250,000 that you and Julian siphoned into personal accounts under the guise of fake marketing expenses. That is embezzlement of corporate funds. The police are on their way." The color drained from Julian's face. Carla started stammering, saying she didn't know anything, that Julian had tricked her. But her signature was on the checks. In a matter of minutes, the empire of arrogance they had built crumbled. Without the algorithm, Nexus was worth zero. The investors pulled out the moment they heard about the fraud. Julian was arrested in the lobby of the building, right in front of all the employees he had looked down on. Carla lost her reputation, her money, and her company in a single afternoon. Today, Nexus no longer exists. I bought the remaining assets at the bankruptcy auction for pennies on the dollar. Now, I run my own consultancy firm, small, efficient, and honest. Carla tried to contact me a month ago, asking for a second chance. I blocked her number. I learned that loyalty is not negotiable, and respect is not asked for. It is commanded. They thought they could crush me because I was quiet. They forgot that silence is where the best strategies are built. Don't seek revenge by screaming. Do it in silence, with the law in your hand, and let the weight of their own mistakes destroy them. I'm Arturo, and this is my story.